talking about the
fear and
1 through 10, where you lie on. If like what
Okay,
I
I
was
guess
saying
you
is
do.
I want to actually pull out my camera and just do record. Like walking down the street or I'm in
Yeah.
a park or whatever, and I just do a record. Hit record, do a live stream, or just record it and then post it later. But just get into that moment of where it's like, oh, in the moment, and I have this idea and I have this thought, and I just start working through the thought and the idea. And I think for me, where it falls back on is what.
Wait, on video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and where it falls back on is what am I? So just looking
Are
at this.
you the
this
influencer?
Pinterest, right, just looking at this Pinterest, they're asking me, okay, so I'm creating my business account. It says, how would you describe yourself? The first thing is I'm not sure. Next is blogger, consumer good product or service, contractor or service provider, influencer, public figure, or celebrity, which is what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm shooting for.
Then go for that.
Institution, nonprofit, local retail store, local service, online retailer, marketplace, publisher, or media. I do publishing media type stuff. I do blogging, but really what I am is that.
And more so, that's what you want to be.
And that's what I want. That's what I'm promoting myself as. Is Joseph Traveler, or Joseph DC is the soul traveler.
And an influencer or public figure is the kind of person that would just plug up their phone on the sidewalk and talk about something.
Jason, I can't remember his last name. But anyways, he's a guy that does Facebook and lives, and he does YouTube and all kinds of stuff. And he talks about the world and the cosmos and connection and how everybody comes together. And his videos are so amazing and so streamlined, and his continuity and the way he pulls everything together, it just gets you like excited and revved up inside. It does me anyways. But the way he talks, the way he speaks and communicates, and his videos are interesting, and like he does all of these different like little flashbang bombs and stuff in there, and goes to black and white, and then back to and then he has the cosmos. He's talking about
special
effects, and so he spends a little bit of time editing.
Right, or as an editor.
Yeah, and they're anywhere from 3 to 5 minute videos, and even just his regular videos of where he's just sitting there talking, and it's just the nature in the background. Mm-hmm. And he's walking, and he's just talking. He's talking about this idea, and he's getting this idea out. Even those videos are like enthralling. The way he communicates, the way he talks.
It kind of makes me want to do it more.
Yeah.
Because when I get into the flow of talking about that kind of shit. Jason Silva.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick, but go ahead.
But the reason that I grabbed this is because what we were talking about was fear.
Yeah, and so how to get from
the
fear of it being a 7 or 8, which it is right now for me, back down to like a 3 or a 5, even to where I can just and it's just commonplace.
Right.
It's just common for me to just grab my phone, do a live video. Common for me to grab my phone, do a recording of and you record my voice and not be afraid of what I sound like.
Right.
Not knowing exactly what I'm saying, but letting it flow out,
Right.
And it's easier for me to flow when I'm typing. Like the words just flow. When I'm writing it, I get all, like it hurts my arm and it's weird. It's like a strange.
But what about talking?
And I thought about actually even starting to learn how to write with my left hand because I'm ambidextrous.
Oh.
But things flow differently through the different channels, right and left brain. But when I'm typing, it's unibrain. It's like both wise mind is what we call it, DBT.
Kind of makes me think, do you think that people are born ambidextrous and then we write so much with our right hand that it just fucks up and then it messes with your brain?
I think that there are a lot of people that are actually left-handed or ambidextrous that are told it's wrong to write with your left hand. And so they actually stop their progression and their natural ability to be able to flow through life. And we got sirens in the background. But their natural flow of life is actually ruined or altered. And then they're put into a box, and it's all based on the school system because the school system is meant to make factory workers. That's what our school system is designed for.
Right, where you're moving stuff from one side to the other.
One side to that, everything's left.
Left
to right.
Industrial revolution for you.
Right, and everybody's got to be the same. It's all cookie cutter. So if they can't count on you to be what they need you to be, you're not important. And that's the society that we live in. And that's right now is what's being broken up. This virus is actually breaking that up. It's destroying that.
It's shifting things to make people more like what you're aiming for,
right.
The influencer, public figure, celebrity.
And it's actually a positive thing, but it's a very drastic way of going about it. People are dying.
When things change really drastically, it seems negative.
Right. And we look at it as a negative because death is a negative, but really death is a transformation, and those people that are dying are moving on to another realm, and that's something that I go into in Soul Travel, but, as the Soul Traveler, and that's why I want to be a public figure, because I want to be able to speak what I know
that stuff.
And what I see and how I understand it so that I can actually communicate that.
Right. And so that people actually get something from it and understand it
and it's useful content. It's useful content.
Right.
It's got to be useful because to me, if it doesn't have a use, then it's not.
I was at my parents' house yesterday, as you know, and just had dinner with them, and I could feel the fear of the coronavirus radiating off of my mom, because she's just so worried, and she's scared to death. And of course my dad's scared to death too, but
he's probably more scared for her because of her fear.
Yeah,
and worried about her contracting the virus or dying.
He's not much of a worrier.
Right.
She is.
Right.
And I'm worried and scared for them because they're worried, and I feel like
because the worry is what creates the problem.
Yeah. Right.
The problem is there,
and that's why when I was there, I was just kind of like, don't worry about it, guys. Come on, it's okay. Just I don't know what to do to help them though. I could tell them that they don't have to fear death, but
we're going on a little
adventure.
Yeah.
So that was Paige, everybody, and her ferocious kitten. That's a really solid. It's a really solid point. I mean, there's where do you go from that?
From what?
The fear. How do you bring that back to a place of stability?
I don't know. There's not really anything that we can really do. I think people have to figure it out on themselves. You can tell people all you want, and they can listen, but it's a matter of experiencing it yourself and knowing for yourself. And so there's a lot of gurus out there that are like, listen to me, trust me, because trust and belief is a big part of it. You just have to believe and believe and believe until you know.
Right. This looks horrible.
No, it looks good. Well, it looks good because I know what it tastes like.
You know what it is.
And I know what it is.
But the video is probably like...
It is straight diarrhea.
No, it's awesome cacao. Concoction of cacao. So
wait, hold on. We're getting a little off topic.
Yeah.
Which is bound to happen.
Right.
It will be happening constantly.
Back when
we should be doing this. But the fear that you'd mentioned before we started recording that you want it to be easy. So something I almost don't think that's a good idea, because it's not a matter of it feeling easy. It's a matter of you just overcoming your fear, and not overcoming the fear by diving into it, jumping head first and whatnot. But it's just taking
which
a small
is what
step.
I feel like I'm supposed to do.
You're not supposed to do that. It's just to dip your toes in. This is what we do in yoga. When we stretch, we dip our toes into lengthening a muscle. We, just do a small little increment, and then you're like, oh, okay, that was good enough. And then you go in a little, because if you dive in, you're not going to want to do it again, because you're going to be so pushed back by the fear. Unless somehow you can overcome it. Some people can do that, but that's a really intense way of doing it.
Wow, you just took me into a whole space of us doing the weekly or monthly cacao sessions here. We invite people over, we do a little bit of yoga, whatever, just for fun, and then whoever wants to show up for the yoga, just like in the park. And then but this is intimate. This is just 5 to 6 friends, right. just like I did before in my previous.
And maybe we can record them.
And yeah, and we do like just a little recording, and we post that. You know, you can post it on yours, you can post it on mine, and on the different places on the sites.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, and that's the part that I'm talking about, creating that with ease. You know, create the editing part. Like you did your
Right.
video in 5 minutes. Holy crap! How do I do that? I don't know how to do that yet.
I didn't know how to do it. It's quick. That
Yeah,
software.
apparently it's quick with the right
What's
software.
the name of the software?
It's quick. Oh, okay, great. So like just quickly doing it, easy structure, just boom. We have this because I'm all down for doing the ceremony and taking video of it and audio of it. But then what do I do with that content? Because to me, where I come from is 20 years ago. Editing stuff took a long time. I created a video for 2.5 hours of shooting. 30 days it took me to make the video.
What the fuck?
30 days. Yeah, I was in school, and it was the best video that the teacher had ever seen. She thought it was the Quan. My computer was stolen, and I lost the video. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So all the content, everything was gone. All right. So wiped out. But the fact is that that's that's where it came from. The fact now is editing is extremely fast. Can be fast. You can spend 30 days on creating a movie,
right.
You know, editing, but I don't need to do that. All I need is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, creation content of where it's quick, easy, and looks professional. I need it to look professional. You know? And because I have a bachelor's degree in sculpture, and you know, all my work was about the top end. My work was the top end. You know, I like high creation art. You know, high involvement. I went into every little tiny detail, and I spent
Clearly,
a lot of time.
I could tell from
That business model took me 2.5 months.
Holy shit.
And I'm selling it for less than the Lego Lady. That took me 5 weeks. But the intensity of these pieces that I used to create was really, really involved. And those pieces that I lost in Virginia, those took me a long time too. You know, and actually the one of the pieces was a second creation. I actually had to remake it. And then it went. And now I have to remake it for a third time from scratch, because at least I had remade it with the model in front of me, you know. But all of my pieces that I made in school, I basically have to recreate, because they aren't the type, they aren't up to par that I want them to be. I want them to look like they're actual real little miniature settings. And so when I get my 3D
it's pretty damn
printer,
close to that one. You know.
That is.
Are you gonna put people or anything on that?
Not in that one.
No,
that
it's
one's just the
just
idea
as it is.
of the, you know, business as usual, corporation taking over mom and pop shop, killing mom and pop. That's what that's.
That. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
the business was just still going and there's a building on it or something like.
Yeah, business as usual is the idea, is that
The
mom and pop is
corporation
being
is
pushed
being-
out.
Right.
Amazon's killing, you know, the boutique store down the street, because
Right.
nobody wants to go down the street.
Well, now the
Nobody-
boutique store goes on Amazon, sells their stuff there.
Yep, and they have to actually modify it. So they're still in business, which is good.
Yeah, it is good. Might make it better, but
We can make things better through progression if we actually adapt.
if we allow ourselves
If
to.
we don't adapt, then the awesome things in life go bye-bye. So
Well, or we just die.
you know what I was going to say earlier is, you know what when I said I'm really excited about what you're doing, the stuff that you're doing, everything you're doing and producing is getting better and better and better. Do you know what makes the difference? The one difference between somebody who succeeds and somebody who doesn't
Progress.
is continuing to do it. The people that fail are the ones that stop.
Just stop. Yeah.
When they fail 3 times or once, and they go, okay, well that didn't work, and they go do something else. Well, it didn't work because they didn't do it again and again and again and again until it worked.
Sounds like you're giving yourself advice for your art.
I am, but and I know this, but I can only focus on do so many things at one time.
And you do have a creative thing that you're
And I
doing
have,
right now.
and the creations that I'm creating are so big. Like each anatomy is big. Like the anatomy of a traveler, anatomy of a soul, anatomy of a deer. The anatomy of a deer is an entire fictitious world. It's a whole world, like 29 characters. Holy shit, that's a lot.
You need to make a Dungeons and Dragons setting.
Yeah, I want to do 3D model. So I want to.
No,
have,
I mean like a
art
world,
figures.
a world book
Little-
that people can play in.
Yeah.
They can create their
Yeah,
own.
it's going to become a game. Like you have little miniature figures, and the 3D model. Once you have all the pieces, you can create your own story.
Yeah.
It's choose your own story.
Wow.
So you can either create it, or you can take a model that I have, which are the outtakes where the deleted scenes and the deleted parts where, well, I chose not to go this way, I chose not to go this way, but you can. I chose not to go this way, but you can. Find out where it takes you. And then post about it in anatomyofthedeer.com.
Wow.
That's ultimately what I want.
That could be pretty fucking awesome.
That's cool, right? Yeah.
It's like a collaborative story.
Yeah. I want it to become more than what it just is.
Right.
More than just what I create. I create the start.
And I really want you to get going on that book then.
Mm-hmm. It's probably the most powerful thing that I'm actually working on.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yes.
And Anatomy of the Soul is what will help the most, because that's where people come back to from all the dissonant, scary abuse and stuff that's in the book. They come back to being able to heal.
You fuck people up with the book, and then you heal them with Anatomy of the Soul.
I'm revealing
their
the
own
fucked
upness.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because my ideal reader is a person who doesn't think he's an abuser,
Right.
and realizes, oh fuck, I'm the abuser,
Maybe
or
even-
I'm the abused,
Right.
I'm the victim,
Or I'm abusing myself.
and yet I'm not the victim because I get to choose. Because
Right.
each person in the storyline gets to choose, except the people that are shot in the head. You know, but,
Well, maybe they chose that in some way.
they did, and they did. Their choices before each decision that they made led them down a road because they weren't paying
I'm
attention.
gonna go down this dark alley today.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, there's scary people in there. Let's find out what's going on.
Yeah. Hey, you guys need anything?
Hey,
You need to shoot me?
hey, there's nobody else around, but hey, I'm just wondering if I could help you out somehow. Mainly it's about the main character. Anatomy of a Deer, the first trilogy, is about the main character. And the main character is the way he is because of something that happened to him, but every decision that he makes along the way is actually bringing him back to wholeness. And everything that we do in life, every decision we make is bringing us back to wholeness, whether it creates a problem or whether it creates a solution. It's still bringing us back to wholeness. And so, even though there's 100 million different directions I could have taken this book, I had to choose this. Okay, well, no, the way that this book is going to work is this. Okay, that choice. Okay, now write it. Okay, now write it. Now write it. And that's, for 14 years. That's how it's been. It's been developing in my head and on paper.
Yeah.
There was a friend that, well, I didn't realize that you had, like 200,000 pages written. I thought it was all in your head. No, it's on paper. It's just not written in. It was at that time. It wasn't written
outline.
in. It was in outline form.
Yeah.
Well, now I have 600 pages written.
Actually written. The
text.
story's done. Or the
Yeah.
story of those.
Yeah. The
It's
novel format is
Yeah,
written out. It's taken from outline into novel format, but I've got another 600 pages to write.
Yeah.
So it's figuring those parts out.
You mentioned something about your. You said it's like the ultimate. Right? That's something that you said?
Yeah, the ultimate of all the things that I'm doing.
Right.
It's
the
actually-
finishing the books.
Right. Well, the project itself is
What
the
about-
ultimate.
Oh, okay.
It's the ultimate
So
project that I'm working
it
on.
is the project.
Yeah, the project with the art,
I just.
with the game, with the writing
Yep.
and the journals and the blogs and the selling of the products and the different things and how it all links together
Mhm.
and how it all brings a community together who actually is all in that. It's just like Anatomy of a Soul is the community is bringing those types of people into an understanding. Those people will now understand why the abuser is the abuser. Through the book series, you'll understand why the abuser is the abuser and be able to heal it yourself, heal the abuser if you're a healer, or heal the system, which is what Anatomy of a Traveler ultimately is about healing through creating a connectivity of society, a new society.
Okay, so back to what I was actually saying.
So that's how it all fits.
Yes, okay. But you have said in the past that you are all about the journey, and it feels very much like the book itself is
The journey.
about the end goal of completing.
Well, I feel like the push.
Like,
I feel the push. In order
The push
to
is
be
the end goal.
well,
Is towards
but
the end
there's a whole bunch of different end goals. So end goal 1 is book 1. 2, 3. And
But what
then
about the
trilogy.
journey? What about the journey that you're doing while you're?
That's
are you
why I
feeling
created-
the journey? Are you enjoying the journey? Or
No, because that's why I created Patreon, so that I could bring other people into the journey. Because I'm
And
all about
actually-
people. I'm all
right.
about people, and that's why I stopped doing art, because it was all
very
about me.
individual.
And the writing.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped writing. I stopped writing for 1.5 years because it was all about me,
Right.
and I didn't want it to just be about me and fictitious characters. I wanted to incorporate other people.
Right.
Well, as soon as I was ready to incorporate the world into it by creating Patreon, I came into the Akashic Records. And my mentor said, no, why would you do that when you could do this? And it confused me. And it wasn't her that created the problem. It was my misunderstanding of that I just needed to continue with, I was just missing that tiny little piece of Patreon is my reason to connect with people. It's my way. It's a path. It's a
It's the
vehicle.
wire.
It's a van
It's a
to
van.
throw a bunch of people in and take them on.
Well,
a
don't
journey.
blow it up.
Right. Don't unless I do a. I did have this project, my old FJ. I didn't want it because it wasn't that. It
Just for this one?
Yeah, my old first FJ.
Oh man.
So I was gonna F by F and FJ. And I was gonna
That was the project, right?
I was
Yeah.
gonna create this whole big project of like, okay,
Blow it up.
give me money and I'll take it out to the desert, and if you give me $25,000, I will blow up my van or my FJ.
And send you a
And
video.
burn it and video, live video.
Yeah.
Do a live video,
Get people to dance naked around it.
broadcast around the world, and burn this FJ down to the ground.
Let's do that with your current one.
Not the FJ, the van. The van again.
That'd be cool.
Right?
But-
so I'm
but we
gonna
also
get
have
it
to get
I'm gonna
out
get
of
it
there.
fixed. I'm gonna get it fixed.
Drive out in it and then
And
walk
then
out of the
drive
desert.
it out there. No, the other people will be there.
No,
And
you
then
have to walk out.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
And then you record that the whole way.
That'd
You
be part
record
of the
yourself getting dehydrated and slowly dying
journey. But here's the biggest problem with that though, is
because
laws.
you die.
No laws.
Well, if you die, then you
If
don't
I
have to worry
burn
about
it
the laws.
on the salt flats, I'll probably go to prison.
Oh, yeah,
So getting permits though, but then I realized you can't get a permit. I'd have to take the wheels off. I'd have to take all the parts out that
I
would
think
make
there's
it
a place that we could go that you could burn it without having a
Mexico.
permit. Oh yeah, we'll take it to the Baja Peninsula.
on the beach and burn it on the beach.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But we still have to like take it out because I
We'd be
don't want to leave
fugitives in Mexico and not go back.
that. It's fine. I've never been to Mexico.
I love Mexico. That's like if I had to move, I either want to move to Mexico or to Australia. But Australia would be my first choice by far, by like 100 points.
I would go with Austria.
I like Austria, but no, I don't want to move there. And I don't really want to go there. I like the
Thailand
women
would be
though.
cool.
The women are cute.
Right. Well, there's cute
Austria.
women everywhere.
It's true. But
But
Austria
they're more cute when they're not from the state that or country that you live in
right.
or culture really.
Well, everybody's cuter when they're from somewhere else.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
The grass is greener, right?
There was something I saw. It was like a joke or something. It was like a 4 goes out of country and she becomes a 10, or he.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to come back.
All right.
Maybe a 6 would
When
become
I
a
went
10,
to-
4 would become a
When I
7.
went to Europe, I was far more popular than I was ever here. When I went to Canada, I was always more popular there than I was here. And when I came back, my mom had this little trick. Oh, he's from Canada. And then I was instantly popular. And then I'd go to Canada. Oh, he's from America. And I was instantly popular. So
Wait,
I
aren't you
had,
Canadian?
I had it made. No,
No?
my sister's Canadian. My stepdad is Canadian.
Oh, you used to
I
go
was born
back
in
and
Arizona.
forth.
Yeah,
From
my,
Canada to-
Yeah, so
that's
my
right.
sister was born in Canada. My after my real dad died when I was 2, my mom remarried when I was 3, and then we'd go. He was a snowbird, and so she met him in Arizona, and he had property down there, and so he
Is it someone
lived in
Follows snow or runs? from snow?
runs from the snow. Yeah, snowbird.
Oh, bird
That's
migrating.
snowbird,
Yeah.
migrating bird. Yeah. So my dad lived in Arizona for 6 months and in Canada for 6 months. So he built roads for the government because he had his own business, and he built roads for the government in Canada when the roads were soft and in the summer because it was like 80, 90 degrees in the summer, and then it was 40 below in the winter. So you talk about drastic weather. You know, you go halfway up into Canada and you're like living in really drastic weather. And you go farther up, it gets even worse. And you don't get the summers. But where we were at is we had really nice summers.
British Columbia or
No, Alberta. Yeah.
Calgary?
Straight up. No, 9 hours above Calgary.
Oh wow, Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah, 15
I
hours.
like Canada.
15 hours into Canada.
Dude, let's take a trip to Canada.
Yeah. My brother wants to go back to Saskatchewan, which is where a place where we grew up. One of the places we grew up.
Let me check out this.
Waltine.
Oh, almost 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Over
So
here.
I don't know.
Hope the external mic is working. It says swipe down for external mic. I don't know what that means.
Oh, great. So we don't have anything recording.
No, it's recording, but I don't know if the mic is actually picking stuff up. We're going to find out.
Oh, it might just be recording from
For
their
your phone. Usually it's a plug and listen.
plug and play,
Well, we're not playing anything.
but that's what they call it.
I don't want to call it that.
When you plug it in and it works.
It's a plug and listen.
Plug it in, it works. It just works.
Plug and work.
It just works. I want shit to just work.
Just realize, huh?
Yeah.
So actually, I feel like this right here that we're doing is a really, really awesome step for, because where we started was with the fear.
Mhm.
This is like for me, this would be a 4, I would say.
This kind of encompasses all of our stuff, though.
It does.
This is beautiful. Like
Yeah.
Anahata, our cacao ceremony.
We should do this more
our
often.
soul travel. We should do this all the time.
Because I could totally just post it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and post it on YouTube.
Okay.
It's really easy.
So where do we create
Or
the channel?
video.
Where do we create the channel? Yeah, but we can advertise on YouTube.
Right, but you can post it on Vimeo and then share it to YouTube. Because that's what I do with my yoga videos. I post them on Vimeo because I
So-
like Vimeo.
So how do we market it and how do we make money and how do we advertise ourselves on it? So what platform do we start from?
I don't
Like-
want to think about that right now.
Do we run through
We can, but the thing is,
Traveler, or do we just
hold on. This is where you get all caught up.
Yeah.
And let's just create the content.
Okay.
And just put it somewhere on YouTube, and then we can put it on Anatomy of a Traveler once the site's built. That'd be awesome. I think that's
Yeah, but
great.
it can go directly to Anatomy of a Traveler Facebook page right now.
Right.
That's set. That's done. That's,
Oh, well,
that's been
so-
in that's been working since 2011.
So I want to come up with a different name for it. I don't know. Could this be background noise? Because this is everything. We're just talking about
Right.
whatever.
It's all of our stuff. And on background noise, oh, dude, what if we created a YouTube profile, an account that was background noise, and the whole thing is background noise, and then eventually we could create a website if we want. But right now it's just YouTube.
Have you?
And then on one account you can have multiple channels. So we have background noise. This is our.
Oh, right.
This is our.
Right.
Like we're talking about. Okay, whatever it is that we're talking about, like how to actually get to the next step. So we call it the next step. So that's the channel for the background noise is the next step, and then our fireside conversations. We have so much content for that. So our fireside.
Do we?
Yeah.
When have we been recording?
So we have like 3 hours. We could make little clips. Make them,
I'd rather do that with the intention of actually editing it.
Right.
That stuff was more just for fun.
right. But
Just to try it out.
But that's a second. That's the second part of the channel.
Wait,
Right.
so what was this that you
This
called?
is
What
the
was
next step.
the next step for?
Just life. Taking the next steps. Like how do you go from
You know
fear
what I-
to
You know what I
doing
don't
body?
like about? I guess if we took edits and clips of it, but you know what I don't like about having it as something like that is that it feels almost like we're trying to do something for people. Where I just want to record our conversations and put them on the web, and then people can get stuff from it if they
Right.
like, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe we could
But I'm
edit.
looking at how to interest people.
Right.
How do okay, I'm interested in psychological mystery thrillers, so I'm going to subscribe to psychological mystery thrillers. But if it doesn't say that it's psychological mystery thrillers, and I think maybe it's about something else, then TLC, Tender Loving Care, then I won't subscribe to it.
Right. So then, this is maybe this is on the track that you were
And which is the name?
saying.
Which is titled
The name is.
So if it's called the next step or whatever, what's the next step about? You know, so it doesn't have to be the next step. It just has to be like something that is an intriguing.
No, I get
that grabs.
Right. Okay. I get what you're saying.
But I get what you're saying too, and just making it.
Let me say what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, right.
I think that this is what the kind of the path that you're aiming at. Probably exactly what you're saying, but if background noise was the channel for where we just put this entire video on background noise,
mm-hmm.
and then we could take the video and edit little clips from it, like 5 minutes of us talking about fear. Yeah, talking about fear, talking about your book, talking about, because these videos we're getting so much stuff.
I like it.
Where we're jumping around, but then we don't have to specifically be like, okay, today we're going to talk about fear.
That's what
today
I don't
we're going
like
to talk about.
I don't like planned conversations.
Right.
That's what I don't like about podcasts. Is where
Right.
it's only. I like it to be a natural conversation you have at a coffee
Right.
shop. That's
Yes.
what Coffee and Time's all about.
Yeah.
Is just a natural progression. But I don't know how to easily take out the extraction of that 5-minute conversation, that 10-minute conversation, that 15-minute conversation. Because throughout the hour and a half or 2 hours of Coffee and Time, there's some amazing conversations that happen.
Right.
But what's the easiest way to to tag that to boom, and to get into the habit of like, oh, this is tag it, and so that that now is tagged in the conversation.
You know what we could try is you have your phone going, timing. You start a timer, and
I'm recording it. So if I record audio and I just tag mark it.
Oh yeah, that'd be
mark
perfect. Because I was going to say we write down times, but
yeah,
then
but if I just mark it,
that would
then,
be so much
and then we
easier.
can just match up the audio.
Yeah.
And it's time. It's marked.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of brilliant. Let's try it. What program would actually do that?
We could also do that with Audition. Audition's really good for that. But
yeah. Audition you can tag.
you can tag.
But see, I can pause.
Oh,
or
are
I can
you
stop.
recording or did you start?
I just started recording.
Oh,
it.
okay.
But in one of these other audio programs I haven't tried Audio Editor.
Man, I'm really stoked to get that lens and see how much of this corner we catch, because then we could get Mark or random people to come and just sit in. And then we all just chat in this corner.
Yeah, I like that. And we could get a nice little carpet, a rug, that makes, just to put in that space.
Over there?
A nice big square rug, yep.
Oh,
and
for the
that's
cacao.
where we sit and do, like just a real small, intimate, it's just, like what Molly and I did.
You know, I'm tempted to...
maybe 2 people at a time,
Right. I kind of want to get rid of this table if we do that. There's something about this space that doesn't feel very hangouty.
Because we have that table.
Because we have the table, yeah. And I want to, honestly, I would like to have that gone so that we could do some yoga there, so that we could do whatever. But, and that table's such old energy. It was here before I moved in. So, I guess it's got to go. Wait, I'm trying to figure out your audio recorder.
Yeah, this looks pretty cool.
Are we done? We done with the video?
No, we're gonna try this out.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't. This is kind of late in the.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Like, I'm thinking
we can be done with that.
I'm thinking. Oh, okay.
We can be done with the video.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm not going to edit this.
We're just gonna post it
Enjoy.
because we're going from a 7 to a 3 by creating ease of process and
Of no
just
editing.
doing, and instead of worrying about whether people will buy into it or love it or like it or
I didn't
whatever.
actually talk about the thing that I wanted to talk about when I went up and grabbed it.
Yeah,
Still have not. We keep getting distracted.
3 to 7, right?
Which is the
fear.
going into the fear
Mhm.
and living with the fear at the level that you want to live at, or living at the fear at a level that is actually still scary. Because Dieta talks about always having fear in your life, always,
Right.
not being comfortable.
Right.
because then you're actually experiencing a certain amount.
Right.
Because then you're actually not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die all the time. That's gonna be stressful and create tension and shit. But you always have a certain.
Great notes.
Oh, cool. You always have a certain level of fear, so that you can see, oh, this is something I haven't done yet. Because for me, fear is
Bookmark. So now it's a bookmark. So
wait, what do you press to bookmark?
I just boom, and then I just put fear.
Oh.
And then I know what that bookmark is about.
Cool.
So this is going to be actually really easy.
As long as we can pay attention and be like, oh, we're talking about something cool.
I'll just have my phone with me and like, oh,
cool.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Okay.
So the fear.
David
Dieta. This is something that I have been thinking a lot about and wanting and like sort of pushing myself to move into it more. Is living in such a way that there's always a little bit of fear in my life, because it's the unknown that always keeps me from it's always the unknown that keeps me from doing something, because I haven't done it before, and so I'm afraid of doing it because I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But nothing new can come into our lives when we're not doing things we've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the unknown that actually, and the fear of the unknown that tells us, oh, we should go do this because it's a new experience.
Right.
It's something that could bring something new into our life.
Right. Like when I first jumped off a 70-foot cliff into the water, and I was terrified. Mm-hmm. And I was in my early 20s, and I was barefoot. I was in a pair of shorts. Ouch. And I had no.
Did your feet slap on the water?
That's why I didn't want to do it, because I was like, yeah, I'm totally down for this, but I don't want to break my feet. Because that's going to hurt really, really bad.
Or just sting the fuck out of them.
So finally, after an hour of me debating, somebody offered me their shoes. And they gave me their shoes. Oh, great. I put them on. I walked, jumped off. I mean, it wasn't even like 10 seconds. He handed me the shoes. Here, you can use my shoes. Boom, I put them on. I stood up and I walked over and I jumped off. And he went, holy crap. And I just splashed. And it was awesome.
7 to a 3.
And it went from a 7 to a 3 because I had like just that what I was afraid of was the pain I was going to feel on my feet.
Right.
And that's what I was afraid of.
But there was no fear otherwise.
And so I mean, there was other fear, but throughout the process of the hour, if I had shoes on, I might have like second guessed myself. But I had convinced myself in an hour that was the only reason I was doing it. So as soon as I got the shoes, I was like, oh, I have no excuse. And something clicked, triggered, and I grabbed the shoes, put them on, and I stood up and walked and jumped off the cliff.
It's almost like the research that you're doing to get the best equipment to do this kind of stuff is like convincing yourself that I can't do it.
Person.
I can't do it because I don't have the equipment.
But now I have the equipment.
Now that I have the equipment, I can do it.
Right. And actually, that's a perfect point, because that actually it was something I was thinking about the other day, but I didn't put all the pieces together until just now. That is what's happening. It's giving me the moment of time to actually be able to be from a 7 to a 3. It's okay. It's commonplace. So last night when I was working through, I was told, my spirit guides told me, I know this is a little hoo-hoo, but that I'm working on my book and I'm looking at the whole thing and I'm going, wow, this is a lot of work, and I'm distracting myself now with what goes into book 2 and how book 2 is set up and how book 3 is going to be set up. And that's going to be another 2 weeks to a month and a half. Or I could just go back to book 1 and knock out the pieces that don't fit in book 1, put them into book 2, because now I understand book 1 and what needs to be in book 1. Just write it, edit it, and publish it, and have it done in a month and a half. And I'm like, maybe I should go to bed, because it was 12:30 at that point when it came up to that point.
Right.
And I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through and keep putting the pieces in place for book 2. And I realized as I started doing that, the exact same thing that we're talking about. And the words in my head, my mind thought that I'm doing this because I'm doing it this way. I'm choosing to do it this way, the long way, because it's preparing me. It's getting me to a place where it's not as scary. It's not as scary to publish that book, because publishing that book is really scary. Because people are going to look at me like, is he crazy? Because this is the craziest book that I've ever actually seen.
False belief.
You know, and it isn't true. It's not the craziest book out there. It's nuts.
Well, just the idea that people are going to look at you and be like, is he crazy?
Oh,
That's
well,
false belief.
they might. I mean,
No.
but then I think about Stephen King. Do people think Stephen King is crazy?
Oh my god, dude.
They
Probably
think
a
he's
little bit.
brilliant. They think he's brilliant.
Crazy and brilliant. Brilliantly crazy.
But he's
you have
also
to be a little crazy to be
he's-
brilliant.
he's also like the functioning crazy person. You know, he's put the pieces together where he's crazy, but he's functioning.
Right.
And he's not crazy because he's defined the difference between fiction and reality.
Right. Even though in The Dark Tower he kind of splits that and kind of says that fiction is reality in a way.
And that's what Anatomy of Deer is. Fiction is reality. And so I'm breaking your brain on how does fiction bleed into reality and how does reality bleed into fiction. And so the memory of this, in the story, the memory of what happened isn't reality. It's not what actually really happened for the story. And then in book 2, you find out more about the reality.
Oh,
And
right.
even that reality is not the reality of reality. In book 3, you find out the real reality of what really happened, of what is really happening behind the scenes. And that's why it's layer
Book 1.
upon layer
This is book
upon
1.
layer. Yep,
This is book 2.
exactly.
And book
And
3.
this is book 3. All of this.
All this is book 3?
All that's book
Well, what about the parts that are prequel?
So now it's not, there is no prequel. Well, so the parts that are
what
prequel,
about-
this
what about
is this.
6?
See, this is
What
before and
about
after.
book 4, 5, 6,
Oh,
7, and 9? There's
oh.
stuff that happens before.
Yeah, that's just an ongoing story.
No, I thought there's stuff that happens before.
In book 8,
In-
in book 8 it goes back to 1940
Oh, right, okay.
when
That's
when
further
they
back,
broke
yeah.
the spirit god and broke off the shadow self of the spirit
Okay, okay. That's enough of that.
Yeah.
This is going to be posted.
god. Because that's that can be said, but that's not. Yeah, that's a whole. That's the continuation of the story, and that's what actually happens to one of the main characters in the trilogy. So,
Yes, right.
Right. But the ongoing next trilogy is another trilogy, and then the next trilogy is another trilogy that tells
Okay.
more of the
I
story.
was thinking that there was more prequel than just book 8.
There
but-
used to be.
I think that it's because you talked about
When-
book 8 a lot with me.
Well, yes, and I have talked
I don't
about
think we've talked about 6, 7, or
4,
4
5,
through 7,
and 6.
really.
4, 5, and 6 are all about the food company. It's all with the crazy guy, the internet troll. So the perks of being an internet troll is
Right.
is the second trilogy.
Okay, don't talk about that too much.
But that's another encapsulated story.
Yeah.
So now you're coming out of this guy's world, this main character's world. He's in the other books, and he's a main character in the other books, but he's not the main character in the
Oh,
other
okay,
books.
so then different analogy. This is one book, or this is one trilogy. Here's another trilogy, maybe. There's another trilogy.
That's how I used to have it set up. That's how
But they're
I,
all connected.
that's how I used to have. Oh, okay. So like this is
And
book one.
no,
This is book 2. This is book 3.
yeah,
This is the other books.
yeah. And then the prequel
Yeah.
is like very center, maybe, or down deeper underneath it
Well,
all.
the prequel is okay. So think of it as a timeline. This is the space of time. It starts on a Sunday, ends on a Thursday, starts on a Wednesday, ends on a Saturday, starts on the following, and ends on the following. So actually the time space is longer and longer.
I wonder if they can see the table. Probably not very well.
Probably can't see the table.
But whatever, you guys can
Right.
visualize it
Just a
yourself.
circle and a bigger circle and bigger circle. So
Yeah.
it's actually like timeline. So everything's about time. And so the main character Chris in book 1, his time frame is
Chris, huh?
the smallest. And then the next character Curtis is his space
Chris
of
and
time
Curtis. Okay, is there another seed
is
character?
bigger. No.
They all seed characters?
No. And then
Cammy?
the final mystery character.
Carl.
The final mystery character. No, the only reason that Chris and Curtis are, they both start in writing. They say don't ever do the same syllable or the same letter starting with a name
Oh.
because people will get confused, like Chris
That
and
makes
Curtis.
sense.
But that's my purpose.
Every Russian literary writer needs that lesson.
Yeah, they
Because
they
all
don't
the
have
names are the same.
they don't have very many optional.
Yeah.
So the purpose for that is that there has to be a certain level of confusion in order for the story to work.
Right. You
Right.
confuse them at the beginning, and then you put the pieces together slowly.
Sorry guys, my purpose is to confuse you just a little bit, just enough so that I can tell part of the mystery.
Well, it's like
and keep you in the dark a little bit, so that when the light comes, you go, wow, that's bright.
so you really enjoy the light.
Right.
But it's like a piece of music. You create dissonance,
Mhm.
build it and build it and build it and build it, and then there's a climax of dissonance, and then it's pleasure when it's resolved.
Right.
Although nowadays we have music that's just dissonance the whole way through. Or pleasure the whole way through.
Right.
Weird music. Anyway, so I feel like we hit all the things that I wanted to hit, finally.
And we did talk
we?
about the fear coming from fear.
We did.
Okay.
Enough.
All
There's
right.
always more. I feel like there was something that, this is why I almost feel like we should name this the Distractibles, because
Oh, we could.
because this is what happens, just jump around. Jump around. And then we lose the thing.
I mean, yeah,
As long as there's not a weird attachment to Distractibles.
Right. Right. So yeah, the Distractibles started off as, like an open relationship idea,
Right.
and being distracted from your relationship. But really, generally, the idea was that my relationship was a distraction from my life, and that's where it came from.
Oh, well, that's not what I mean for Distractibles.
So
Now it's because we're distracted in our conversation and we jump around and
Right.
go on tangents.
right, and so that hence the podcast. The
Yeah.
idea of the podcast was that we actually communicate about different subjects, but the only subject that the relationship was about was an open relationship.
Right.
So it became that.
Yeah.
So Distractibles actually is more this.
Oh.
Than in reality. That's what my original idea was. Like originally, before the words came out of my mouth.
Cool.
I brought it up to her.
That fits better than background noise, in my opinion.
Okay.
I like that better than background noise.
Okay.
When you were talking about something, I was talking about something. I was thinking like, oh, Distractibles. We're just distracting. We're distracted. We keep moving away from the original point that I brought this down, that we were talking about at the beginning.
Right. So it's good that I deleted all of that stuff, all the social media from my Distractibles and stuff, because
Yeah.
I'd like it to be something else. Distractibles.com is taken.
We don't need a website.
Right. No, we just need to title the YouTube channel Distractibles.
Yeah.
But there is a podcast called Distractibles.
Oh.
So that's my point. That's where I was going.
Oh.
Right. The website is
That's
the
kind of a big
podcast.
thing, because the
Distractibles.
name needs to be
And that's
something that
what we're talking about is exactly
we'll
what
just
they're
take
doing.
all of their viewers.
That's why we call it background noise.
I don't really like that though.
Okay.
It doesn't fit with this because
No, it
it's
doesn't.
not background.
Yeah.
We're right here.
It's front ground noise.
It's front ground noise. It's foreground.
It's foreground.
And this is the stuff that
Front line.
that we're working on in our
That's a news channel.
Yes, it is. I know. And even though I don't watch the news, I know.
You don't need it. So probably should. But yeah, so what do we
It's
call
like,
it? So guys, what do we call our channel? Let us know in the comments below.
yeah, maybe we'll change the name. We'll probably have decided by the time we get your comments.
But we would still love to hear your comments, and I'd love to hear what everybody has to thinks about this video and our idea of what we're
How
creating.
about the adaptables?
Oh, that sucks.
I think so.
That sounds like a superhero that went
I was
bad.
thinking of like adaptogens.
The
Like
adaptables that
things
went bad. Something that went bad somewhere on
Rotten minds.
the. Yeah.
Rotten food. That's what
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah. No, we're not that.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure
So
we'll,
we're slowly
I'm sure we'll have
rotting.
people say, "Yeah, you guys are just horrible," and rotten. But there'll be other people like,
Says
"This is
you.
great. This is lovely."
Well, they're not gonna get to this point in the video.
Right. They'll have turned it off before that.
Right,
So we're
yeah.
good. We're solid. We're
Yeah.
golden. The Golden Child. Of course, that was a movie by Eddie Murphy.
Golden guys,
Golden.
not golden girls. Golden
Right.
guys.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Well, I don't think that we're gonna come up with it while recording.
Time and distractions. Yeah.
I really like Distractibles, man.
I know. Well, yeah, but we can have Distractibles if we have a precursor or a post, word after or before Distractibles.
Right.
The Distractibles.
It makes me feel like The Untouchables. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Where it's about the gangsters.
Yeah.
So we are. We're the untouchable Distractibles.
Right. We are the Quan.
The Quan.
The
Yeah.
Quan. Well, that was before we started recording. I was talking
That
about
was.
the Quan. The
And
Quan
then you
is
said
like
it
the
while we
shit.
were recording.
The shit. The super.
They know.
I'm the Quan.
They know.
Yeah. What? Yeah. They might. They might not. Depends
Probably
how old
don't.
they are.
I don't.
Remember that kid that jumped on Periscope when we were?
Right. Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, here, look at the old guy learning technology." Yeah, right.
I actually almost wanted to use Periscope for this, but I think this is a better format because I'd rather.
Because then we have to interact.
Right.
Right.
And I don't want to interact.
If we have a third
I
person
don't want to interact
who's,
with you guys. Sorry.
well, yeah, well, not while we're making video, because we're actually just generating flow and content.
Right.
Right.
The flow gets disrupted when there are other people around. That's why I don't like singing when there's other people around. Because the flow is disrupted.
Right.
So I don't do poetry when there's other people around.
Right.
I gotta get over that though, because if I ever want to do a live,
7 to 3, dude.
yeah. Well, I'm working on that right now.
We're kind of reversing the scale here. You usually go from a 3 to a 7. Well, we're going from a 7 to a 3, so it's easy.
What? Well, no, we're turning a 7 into a 3.
Right. But I was just thinking of like, oh, is she a 10 or is she a 3? Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Well, a 1 would be easier.
Right. I know.
So we're not reversing the scale.
Why not just go for
a
3?
Well.
Okay. Now we're getting this.
Now should we stop recording?
Now we should stop recording and cut.